A very, very good morning to you, everyone. I hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. We have a lot of news to get through, so let's get cracking. Yes, hello, everyone. Welcome back to NFTV. Things are developing on the transfer front. Ooh, hallelujah. Sean Longstaff, Leeds have come in last night. Later on, talk about that. Anthony Elanga, due for a medical. We'll talk about that. Callum Wilson saying goodbye. We'll chat about that. But first, the lads returned to pre-season yesterday. So a lot of the international lads have been given a little bit more extra time off. But Willisula didn't. I seen Willisula back and I thought, what's he doing back on day one? I thought he might be back next week. But Willisula's there. We've seen, obviously, with the screen grabs that you can see on your screen now. He said hello to a few of the lads as well. You can see people like Jamal Lascelles, Kieran Trippier, Harvey Barnes, Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy, to name a few. So it's good to have the lads back in pre-season. Eddie Howe and his coaching team are there. And you would hopefully think that as soon as they're back, that things would accelerate on the transfer front. And hey, behold, it looks like it's happening. Lewis Hall, just to touch upon that, on not really transfers now. He is training. He's already been training for almost 2 weeks, I want to say. So he's been training on his own. So he'll merge back in because he's still coming from recovery. So he should be back in pre-season with the rest of the squad playing games probably in a few weeks. I think he'll miss the games in Asia, but he'll probably still go out and travel just for the bonding exercise and keep his fitness as well. So good to see the lads back. As I say, the international lads will return probably at the end of the week or next week, next Monday. But look, good to see them back. The pre-season game against Celtic is coming very, very fast. A week on Saturday on the 19th. Of course, we will be up there for you. But let's get talking about the big news that broke last evening. But he is expected to have a medical today. And this has come from two sources and the likes of Fabrizio Romano and Craig Hope. We'll bring up what Craig Hope tweeted first. So he says, exclusive in capital letters. Anthony Elanga in Newcastle is on. Issues involving intermediaries resolved today. I'll come back to that later. Elanga is in Portugal, but medical set to be scheduled. £55 million agreement between Newcastle and Forest. But then Fabrizio Romano claims he's got the exclusive. Anthony Elanga to Newcastle. Here we go. Deal in place, club to club with Nottingham Forest for £55 million. Agreement also in place with the players' camp on a long-term deal. Excellent addition for hashtag NUFC. So this has been played out for quite a while. Elanga's wanted the move. Obviously, he's very, very close to Willisula, Agent Asula. And of course, he knows Emil Kraft and in particular Alexander Isak very, very well. We might as well just start getting loads of Swedes, you know? Beautiful people as they are. But obviously we've seen Anthony Elanga, for you who follow him on social media, post that he is out in Portugal coming in a minute, doing some training out there. So whether he flies to London or up to Newcastle for his medical or we head out there remains to be seen. I think he'll come to the UK for that. The real reason why the Elanga deal has took so long is, this is according to Craig Hope, it's not because the two clubs couldn't agree the fees, it's because Elanga was changing agent, hence the delay. So now we know that information, we can then say, right, that makes sense now. So that's why it's been delayed. A fee of around £55 million. Man United are going to get 15%, which equates to around 8.25 million, which leaves Forest 46.75 million. Considering Forest bought him for 15 million a couple of years ago, that's a fantastic product. Forest are getting a lot of money for a winger who hasn't hit his ceiling, and they'll probably look at and think you might go on and do better things, but there's also that risk that he might not be the player that Newcastle might think that he might turn out to be. But we want to disagree. Of course we'd want to disagree on that, because Eddie Howe has shown that he can improve players. Ready for this? Tino Livermento's a better player. Lewis Hall's a better player. Fabian Schär's a better player. Joe Linton's a better player. Arguably, Tonali's probably performing better now than he is at Milan. Jacob Murphy's a better player. Alexander Isak's a better player. Anthony Gordon's a better player now he's at Newcastle than he was at Everton. See where I'm going with that? I've just named 7 or 8 players for you straight away. I'm very confident that Eddie Howe can improve Elanga. Much more happy, I can tell by the tone of my voice in the video today, than João Pedro. I'm not that awesome with João Pedro. I was like, But I'm more excited about Elanga. So he's due for a medical, as I say. What would he bring to Newcastle? So we know that he's different to Murphy, but Elanga can play left or right, predominantly on the right though. It's competition for Murphy, which is important because Murphy's had the season of his life, which is great. And Elanga is great on the counter. He can use both feet, left or right. He can just go past players. He's got pace to burn, whereas Murphy's probably a better rounded player from last season in terms of he's more of a team player. But I'm very, very excited about Elanga as well. Will he settle? I think he will. As I say, he speaks the language perfectly well. Grew up in the UK for a long time, hasn't he? Came over from Sweden. And obviously he's a Manchester United youth product. He knows Will Asula really well. He knows Alexander Isak really well. I think he'll settle perfectly well. And is he ready for the move? Obviously, he was at a massive, massive giant club like Man United. Didn't quite get the break that he wanted. He did get it at the side. He was a squad player, but he didn't nail down the first team, hence why he went to Forest. Dropped the level, and then he's ready for that move again. I think he is ready for that move. He's coming, no disrespect to Forest, but Newcastle are a bigger club at this point in time than Nottingham Forest, and he's 100% ready for the move. So all eyes on when that medical will be. Is it later today? Is it tomorrow? The journals in particular are thinking it's the next 48 hours. So it might not be today, but we're hoping so. So that's the first piece. Now, the second piece of transfer news came late last night as well from the British guru, as I call him, David Ornstein, who has a good reputation for getting transfers right. And he obviously works with New York Times. Obviously, they are with the Athletic at the same time. Now, Leeds are pushing to sign Sean Longstaff. It's not the first time I've heard this. I think this is the third time that I've come in for him. £10 million up front with £2 million add-ons. Yet receive a reply from Newcastle about that offer, but close to the limit before Leeds pursue other targets. So Leeds are almost at the brink where Ornstein is saying, look, this is what we think he's worth. We'll give an extra $2 million, including incentives, and we're going to leave it as that. Otherwise, we'll start looking at other targets. Personal terms are in place. He's now at an age where he's 27. He should be in his peak really now. 1 year left on his Newcastle deal. If Newcastle wants some money, they will have to cash in on him this summer because he obviously has got the contract until the summer next year. Is it good for Newcastle? Is it good for Sean? Is it good for Leeds? Is the fee? I'd probably want a little bit more for the money. If you can get a 15 million, then yes, possibly. Sean's sixth choice now, even though Miley's got ahead of him at the back end of last season. Do Newcastle want 6 centre midfielders? Ideally, yes. Could they cope with 5? Potentially. I would personally like to say 6, or if Sean goes, you maybe want to get an up-and-coming youngster who's similar in the mould of age-wise to Miley, who can come in and maybe be a bit part player for his first season. But look, we're selling an academy player. If he does go to Leeds, it's pure profit, that term. So it helps Newcastle massively with PSR, of course it does, because it's just all profit, all of it being club trained. However, in Europe, our squad will get reduced because you've got to have... Now, this is where a lot of people get confused with homegrown and club trained. So your UEFA squads, i.e. the Champions League, have 8 homegrown players, but 4 of them need to be club trained. If they're not, you start losing a squad players for each one of those 4 that you don't have. So Newcastle have 1 in Sean Longstaff. So our squad at the moment would be a 22-man squad, because we've got 3 missing. If Sean Longstaff goes, we'll come down to 21. So the squad for the Champions League is smaller. However, before you have a go at us in the comments, the under-21s are a totally separate list. So technically, all the under-21s can be on the bench. You could also possibly even have Lewis Miley there. You could also have Lewis Hall. I think Lewis Hall might just qualify. Alex Murphy is also club trained as well now this summer, so he's been here for more than 3 years despite him being loaned out. So he could potentially be added to the list as well as club trained. So is it good for Newcastle? I think it is. I think Sean's ready to be... Look, it'll kill him moving from Newcastle. Of course, he's a Geordie through and through, but does he want his career where he's playing 10 minutes a game and he's got 5 players ahead of him, 3 of them, Joe Linton, Bruno and Toon Army, are just... No one's getting ahead of them. That's why there's rumours that Joe Willock may head out. And if this is true, if he can get the fee, 15 million, I think it's a good. I think it's a good move for Newcastle. I think it's also good for Leeds as well. By the way, I think Leeds will get a good Premier League player who grit, determination, box to box midfielder, can chip in with goals. I think Leeds will get a good player there. So if we can get 15 million, then that'll be good for both parties, I feel. And then a couple of other things before we wrap up. Callum Wilson, of course, that is official now. We all kind of knew it wasn't going to happen because when I filmed it and he's walking around the ground and saying goodbye to everybody. I will read out what he said to fans in case you have missed it. Wilson has announced that he is not staying on at Newcastle. From what it sounds like, he's rejected Newcastle's offer, which looks like it was more like a pay-as-you-play deal, more or less. And Wilson's gone on to say, it's time to say goodbye after an unbelievable few years in the Toon. Thank you for everything. We stood strong together through the highs and some lows to help the club experience new heights. I'm so proud I've worn the iconic number 9 shirt and to have a little bit more history to it. Scoring at the Gallagher end is really special, as I say. All good things come to an end, but there's no doubt Newcastle United will always have a place in mine and my family's hearts. Thank you for the memories, Callum Wilson. Yeah, really nice, isn't it? And I think the club did give him a nice tribute as well. Because look, he scored 49 goals for us. And he gets a lot of stick for his injuries, granted. I think it's right for him to move and try and get first team football like he'll be a regular. Memories serve to me that, you know, under Bruce it was 9 behind the ball, give it to Maxi, give it to Wilson, and they'll bail it out more times than not. They did. The Champions League season where we qualified for the Champions League, you've got to remember he scored 18 Premier League goals in 31 games. That got him an England call-up, got him in the squad as well. But obviously the last year or so, it's been very difficult from him in terms of injuries. And I think it's the right decision. I do. Our old club wanted him to be as a pay-as-you-play player. I think that's the right call. And the journals are saying that John Ruddy is set to sign a new deal. I didn't get it. We've already got Mark Gillespie as a goalkeeping training keeper. We've still got the likes of Nick Pope, Martin Dubravka, Odyssey's Vlachodimos on the books. Obviously, we'll try and get Vlachodimos out of the club, even if it's a loan. And Martin Dubravka might depart as well, because we're looking at James Trafford, another goalkeeper bring in. And then you've also got to think you've got youngsters like Aidan Harris who's breaking through. I think Max Thompson's still in the book. So, not for me. Maybe it's for his coaching badges. I don't know. But there we go. And that is a roundup of the last 12 hours or so. It's been very, very busy, hasn't it? Very, very busy. But going back to Anthony Elanga. Right then, medical is due. That's the headline for you right there. Sean Longstaff needs to come in again from, do you sell, do you keep? This is what I'm asking you in the comments, by the way. Callum Wilson's message. What's your memories of Wilson? Favourite goal? Let me know your favourite goal of Wilson's. But yes, we shall love yous and leave yous. We'll see you very soon here on NFTV. If the news does break that he has or is about to sign on the dotted line, me or Joe will bring you that news later. Right, I've got to get back to work now. It's coming up to work time. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.